Look, I can tell you, as Speaker of the House, as the person who's in charge of defending Article 1 powers, I'm just going to insist to you that those have not been traversed in any way by what happened here. The President used his authority under the law. He did so in a way that caused no casualties on the American side. And got the job done with exquisite intelligence and extreme precision that can only be done by the U.S. That's why we are the world's great and last superpower, and we stand for justice, and you're going to see that meted out here. It's overdue, and everyone will be safer because this has happened.
Welcome back, Credlin. I'm James Morrow, filling in all week. Great to be with you. Well, ever since Donald Trump's capture of Venezuelan strongman Nicholas Maduro, we've heard a lot of talk about his actions being against, quote-unquote, international law. With the likes of, say, celebrity barrister and darling of the tote bag set Jeffrey Robertson saying in the Sydney Morning Herald that, oh no, the arrest violates all the norms that keep our world so peaceful. But is that really so? Joining me now to discuss this and more is John Heinraker, a brilliant lawyer himself and president of the Center for the American Experiment in Minnesota. John, thanks so much for joining me here, and Happy New Year. You've noted on your brilliant Powerline blog that Democrats have all adopted the same script about the seizure of Maduro being, quote, unlawful and unwise. But John, tell me about this international law argument that they're running. I feel like this is more about politics than the law. What do you reckon?
James, it is 100% politics. During the presidential campaign in 2020, Joe Biden accused Donald Trump of being soft on Maduro. And Biden said he was going to be tough on Maduro. Of course, he did nothing at all. The Democratic position on the use of military force depends entirely on who is in the White House. The overnight raid to pick up Nicholas Maduro was nothing compared to the bombing of Libya, which led to the overthrow and death of Muammar Gaddafi, which the Obama administration carried out. But nearly all the Democrats were fine with that. So it really is a political question of who is in the White House when it comes to approving of the use of force.
And John, I wanted to also just interrogate this point about international law a bit more as well, because there's this idea that, somehow this is a violation of norms, states shouldn't invade other states, but the Trump administration, they have a case. They say that this was really a criminal indictment. That's why we saw Maduro frog-marched by guys with DEA badges on their arms into the courthouse earlier today. Where does this whole international law argument stack up? Because as far as I'm concerned, the international law crowd has no answer about what to do about somebody like Maduro.
Well, James, that's right. I mean, arguably, there's really no such thing as international law because there's no one there to enforce it. And there certainly is no principle of international law that says that a narco-terrorist dictator is immune from any accountability as long as he stays in the country that he runs and among the people that he terrorizes. Nicholas Maduro was indicted in the United States and has now been arrested and has been brought to the U.S. to stand trial. That is a legal proceeding.
Yeah, indeed. And meanwhile, though, talking about other Democrats' reaction, I love this here. Kamala Harris, who could very well have been the president of the United States right now, and presumably would have left Maduro in power, has posted on X, writing that the president is putting troops at risk, spending billions, destabilizing a region, and offering no legal authority, no exit plan, and no benefit at home. But I thought this was particularly hypocritical here, John, because as you alluded to before, the Biden administration, and with Kamala Harris as vice president, approved a $25 million bounty for Maduro's arrest just days before they left office.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The Biden State Department increased the reward that was being offered for information leading to the capture and arrest of Nicholas Maduro to $25 million. It looks to me like Donald Trump may be eligible to claim that reward. So it's total hypocrisy. And, everything that Kamala Harris said in that tweet was wrong. There were no troops harmed. There were no billions spent. The region is going to be more stable with Venezuela no longer an ally of Russia and China and Iran. The legal authority for the arrest is the federal indictment in the Southern District of New York. And far from not having an exit plan, the troops have already exited. So I think that this is a brilliantly executed operation. And I think that American security is going to be greatly enhanced by not having a hostile country collaborating with our enemies right across the Caribbean from us.
Well, and that's the thing, John. I mean, everybody who says international law and you can't use force, but as with the law, at a state level or a federal level, law needs force behind it to be enforced. Isn't there a very strong case to be made that if you do believe in a stable international order, taking out bad actors like Maduro when they need to go is actually a way to preserve peace, not undermine it?
Well, I think that is exactly right, James. And who else is going to hold someone like Nicolas Maduro accountable? His own people would love to do it, but they can't. He's got them under his heel. The United Nations is great at making high-sounding pronouncements, but they have absolutely no ability to do anything about an autocratic dictator like Maduro, who's not just a dictator, but a narco-terrorist, as he has officially been indicted in the federal court in the United States.
Indeed. John Heinrich, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time, as always, and a very happy New Year to you there in Minnesota.
Happy New Year, James.